I want to invite now also to join us in here Candance Saffery from Bia Power. Well, she's a portfolio company of Wayra. She raised funds here. She also raised capital from abroad. And also, well, she was a finalist. Well, she was in the process of Entrepreneur 21 Awards a couple of years ago. Remember, you were pitching at DayOne with us. And well, so happy to be able to connect with you again. So Candance, welcome. And well, as the newcomer, no, to the session, maybe you can tell us a bit about Bia Power, no, and what do you do, and that for a start.
Sure. Well, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here. So we're a software company, and our focus is really on optimization of electric vehicle charging. And specifically, we look right now at predicting flexibility within electric fleet management, flexibility in load and flexibility in charging, and then we run an optimization platform that will make the charging cleaner and cheaper and more efficient for use. So we're really a back-end intelligence engine that is an interoperation platform between the charging requirements and the energy and the tariffs and the cost of the energy for fleet management.
Okay, thank you. And well, Marta, do you have them? Well, Bia is a portfolio company of Telefónica, no? So can you a bit explain, no, what's the relationship between you two and how you came to invest in them?
Well, in fact, Bia came out of Alpha. No? There was a Telefónica's initiative, no, of tech bets, no, and I have to say it was a startup, no, that when we invested in them, no, it was like very early stage, right? So you were like almost like no, developing like the technology, no, and it's true that at that time, no, electrification of vehicles was not as like
as hot as it is now, no?
Exactly. So they were like pioneers in the space, no. And it's been, I think, like very hard for them because they've been the ones like creating the market. And I mean, I think that now, no, after these years, no, it's when really, no, like the market, the customers are starting to really ask for this kind of technologies. And the good thing is that they have already like developed it. No, you have already like done a lot of like pilots and worked with a lot of customers, and now you're ready to scale them. No, so. It's one of the things that I like about the startups like Bia Power is like their resilience, no, and to
keep on pushing until the moment is the right one.
Until the market is ready, and this happens with a lot of technologies, no, like technologies that maybe like are in a moment, but maybe the timing is not correct, right? But I think that well now, no, Bia Power arrives like in the perfect timing, no, and that's why, no, they are having so much success.
Yeah, and well, Marta was telling, no, how you were starting small and that now you're being ready to scale. Can you tell us a bit on this process, no? How has been your funding strategy?
Yeah, so it's been, you know, I think I wouldn't say we were early. We may have been early for Spain, but from a global perspective, I think we had a really nice start with understanding where the technical gaps were from both a utility perspective and an EV fleet management perspective. But when we started talking to funders, it was also the timing. It was right before COVID, then we went through COVID, and there was a lot of things happening with the economy, and we did raise a couple, you know, 2 smaller rounds, and then we've just closed a nicer size round in November. And what I really felt is that finding the investors who understand your proposition, who understand your technology, have some edge into the industry really makes a difference. Because we're doing disruptive tech for a future system, it's hard to, you know, we're not going to raise money off revenue right now. We're raising money off of disruptive idea, off of prototypes that work, off of initial customers. So, you know, when we were raising money in other startups I was at in Silicon Valley 10 years ago, you could go with a PowerPoint and 3 people and raise a lot of money. And that was not the environment we were in, even though we really understood this is the right tech, it's for the right time. So yeah, there was a little bit of resilience resilience required. But at the same time, it's really paid off. We've had investors in Spain, investors from actually Japan now, also from Netherlands. And those networks, we've had some one's big strategic come in as well. Those have really helped us build credibility in the market.
And how is it different, no? Maybe from, well, the first rounds based in Spain, no, with the support of Telefónica, and then now going, you were saying Netherlands, Japan, so very different, very different type of investors, or even culture, no? I think that...
Yeah, very different culture. And I think, what Telefónica and Wayra did was sort of a leap of faith with us. They understood what it meant to build future disruptive tech. So that was, we were very much conceptual in building our first prototypes. And then as we got more credibility with a really good product market fit, so we have a huge vision. We think we can save, sustainability for the world. But when you say, okay, when I'm going to raise funds and I've got an actual product market fit that's meeting an urgent need in the commercial space right now, that's where we saw things start to shift. And it just took time because the market was evolving while we were evolving the tech.
Yeah, and Marta, no, I think that one of the strengths, no, of being in a network like Telefónica or any large corporation, no, is that also this possibility of opportunities to connect, no. And maybe can you explain us a bit how do you help the startups in your network to go that step further?
Totally. So, well, one of the things always we say at Wayra is we're a global hub. We have offices both in Spain, in the UK, in Germany, in Brazil, and in different countries in Latin America. So one of the things we love doing is also using this network, to help startups, in become international companies. I have to say that in the case of Bia Power, they've done it by themselves. We don't have any network in Japan, and they've managed to connect with investors over there. But of course, one of the things I think it's important is that having like Telefónica brand behind corporations also gives credibility. That like a big corporation like Telefónica has a bet.
Like a check, no? It's like
this bet, and it's for sure helps also our portfolio companies wherever they are.
And Candance, to close, what are your challenges on one hand, and then also what piece of advice would you give to entrepreneurs also willing to go abroad to look for those Japanese or Dutch investors or from wherever they are? Those two things, the challenges that you are facing and a piece of advice for them.
Sure. So challenges right now is really we're in a scale-up phase, and part of it's hiring and recruiting. All of a sudden, the engineering market's a global market. So it used to be, certain markets would have certain pockets of, developers or types of engineers that I really understood. And with COVID, I think we've got much more a global market on the engineering and data science side. So that's really shifted how we recruit. And now that we're in scale up, we need to hire quickly. We need to build a team, and it's just a very different environment with people wanting to work remotely. And I'm kind of old school, and I want people in the office. So I think part of that's scale up, and then really we've spent a lot of time building some global partnerships, and just realizing without a big team, it's hard to leverage them enough. Like we have set up huge channels that we're realizing, wow, we don't have the internal bandwidth to actually take enough, advantage of the partnerships we've set up. So I think really the phase we're in right now is scale up, and that's about hiring well and scaling consistently. As far as advice, I think that what ended up working for us, one of their biggest investors was a customer. And so they became a strategic investor, and they approached us. And I think that I've spent a lot of time and maybe wasted some time meeting with everybody who would want to meet with us. And I think now I have a lot more confidence to say, you're likely not an investor that's up for the risk or up for the technology understanding or from the technical challenges that we're going to have. So I think we actually had a lot of success from it was a big client, but a client coming to us that understood our technology, understood the future application, and asked us for investment. You don't always get that, but I do think being selective also on the startup side, you could meet with hundreds of investors if you want, and all you're doing is educating their analysts on what's cool tech. And I realized that's not my job. My job is to find a chemistry with an investor that gets my team, understands the future tech that we're building, rather than me going, and if I take every single investor meeting, I'm basically just sharing all my IP and telling all the investors, what tech's out there, and that's not actually my job.
And also, well,
so you have to be
investing a lot of
ways.
time, no? That it's very
tons of
precious
time.
and scarce, no? And well, Marta and Candance, thanks a lot for being with us today and for sharing your knowledge and your ideas. And well, I hope to see you in the next days also.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vanessa.